Welcome to Student Spotlight number 8. This is our 8th episode where we get to feature some of our best, brightest students in Vineland Public Schools. Today, I have Denise Gonzalez with me. She is the 12th grade senior class president. Such an exciting time to be able to be here with you to learn more about your story. You're also one of our students who started with us since kindergarten, and now you're a 12th grader getting ready to do amazing things out in the world. And we'll get to that as one of our questions. What comes next? Okay. So, Denise, talk to us a little bit about, your what makes you proud as a student, your best, greatest achievements here at Vineland High School.
I think that some of the best achievements that I've had here at Vineland High School are the ones where I've been able to help our school community, but also the community of Vineland as well. Like one of my favorite things that we've done as class officers is that last year we had a menstrual product drive and we were able to donate so many items to our local women's shelter. We also recently had a food drive for Code Blue as well, which is really great to do. And it's always really great to see how our event planning plays out and how we're able to bring so much joy and excitement to these students' daily lives. So, yeah.
Excellent. I have gotten to know you a little bit in the last 2 years for the meetings that we've had as part of our student government series with the superintendent. One thing I learned about you is that you're part of a group of very powerful advocates, young ladies in our school who are really just leading and talking to our community about things that are fair, things that are unfair, things that should be changed. So eventually we'll get into that, because I want to learn a little bit more about you. As far as what you advocate for and things that you believe should be, changed here at Vineland High School or improved or what we can do better. But before we get into that, what's a memorable experience that you've had at this high school? You already talked about the menstrual cycle products drive. That was a big deal for our schools. But anything else that you can share?
There's just so many memorable moments as a class officer. I would say that some of my favorite moments were doing homecoming floats for junior and senior year. We didn't win, which we thought was a little unfair, but I do. It was really fun, not just with our class, but seeing the other classes too, seeing them put it all together, trying to hype up the streets of Vineland, going down Landis Avenue and just waving to everybody and seeing the little kids get all excited. That was really fun. And it really taught us about teamwork as well, because I got to work with so many other students, especially students that I don't normally come across during the day. So being able to form some friendships that way was really great.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thinking of your favorite subjects or teachers who've really impacted you as a young lady here at Vineland High School, can you share some stories or some interesting details about your relationships or some of the mentors you've met here?
I would say that one of my biggest mentors here at Vineland High School is Mrs. Rasmussen. I first came across her when she was my teacher for AP Language and Composition during my sophomore year. She is such a great personality to be around. She's very bright. She's very understanding. We don't have just academic conversations in there. We can also have very conversations about our daily lives, and she's very helpful with that, and she helps us incorporate our work into our daily lives. I'm currently taking AP Research with her, so I just came from that class actually, and it's my favorite class. I love going there. She's the advisor for the academic team as well, so I've learned so many lessons from her about teamwork, about standing up for myself, how to argue basically, but in the proper way too. I think that's why when you guys hear from me at the meetings or my speeches or whatever, I would have to credit Miss Rasmussen for that big time.
Right. You've prepared a couple of powerful speeches to the board when you address them as the board student representative. And it's just incredible that, you've had time. Now I see where you get that training. Talk to us a little bit about the academic team. What do you do? What does that team actually do? It's a club that we have here. Tell our viewers a little bit about it.
So the academic team, we meet every Friday for an hour and a half, and we do trivia, and there's multiple categories. There's art, literature, math, science. I specialize in pop culture and current events. So every few months we do competitions. We have one coming up on February 22nd. Um, I think it's the Viking Bowl. No, it's the Egg Harbor Township competition. My apologies. Um, and yeah, we learn so much about how to work with a group. Like we usually get paired up based on our expertise, and so it's really nice to learn how to play off of other people's ideas because sometimes you don't really have the full answer to things, and you need to have that ability to communicate and understand one another. So it's really great, and we do bring home some awards sometimes, so it's really great to
That's
get that
right.
too.
Excellent. How does being the senior class president, a participant in this academic team and those competitions, how does that help you as a student? When you're grinding through your classes, taking your assessments, how does it help you being part of those extracurriculars in our school?
Well, I think I've established a few times that it's really helpful with communicating with other people. When I came into this high school, especially after quarantine, I was struggling a lot with communication. So it really, all these experiences, they've taught me how to work with other people, how to listen to other people's ideas, that sometimes my ideas aren't exactly what everybody wants, you know. And it's also just taught me how to work hard and keep up with things too. So yeah.
That's great. No, thank you for sharing that. You're doing a lot. You're busy. How do you balance it all?
It's actually it's definitely not as easy as it looks, especially this year because we have so much. It's like every time we feel that we've completed something, the next thing comes. So, but me myself, I do prioritize academics. So, um I usually put that first, but there's also times where we're doing an event for the senior class and I'm like, "Oh, I want to do this, you know, I really want to make this something that has an impact on these kids and on our school overall." I really like to be to hear back from people that we've created such a memorable experience for them. So I do put whatever needs to get done first, and then everything else just kind of falls into line.
And so it sounds like you have a plan and you just keep chipping away at it and keeping everything
Yeah,
organized. What are your plans for the future? What comes next?
I do want to study social work. I'm looking more towards local colleges. I'm trying to stay in Jersey. Um, I think that like the main the main plan right now is to study psychology at Rowan first and then get my master's in social work. And I do want to do therapy one day. I think that I prefer to work with children or young adults because that's another thing that I've learned from being a class officer. I do like being around like the younger generation and trying to, you know, help them through their daily lives and
That's
stuff. And I
right.
feel like it would be a really enjoyable experience.
Absolutely. Well, we're always looking for social workers. So hopefully, maybe after you get your degree, you might want to come back and serve and provide those services to our community or maybe even in our own school. We talked a little bit earlier about, being a student advocate and advocating for your students, your friends, your colleagues. What message do you have based on current events that you see happening in our school district? Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I think that it's really important for, especially for like the board members. I noticed that you guys have been coming around the school more often, and I feel like that's really important. I feel like it's really important not to just listen to even us class officers, but to also listen to the general public of Vineland High School. That's something that I work on as a class officer. I want to know what other students want, not just what I think that they want to. It's really important to listen to their ideas. And I know that sometimes there's like a gap because of like the different generations, different ideas and stuff. But I think it's really important that as administrators and as teachers that we need to that you guys need to keep up with your students and the students also need to keep up with you guys because that's really important to me, forming a genuine relationship, not something that's one-sided, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. That's excellent. Uh, Last question, so what advice do you have? You were here from kindergarten to 12th grade. You got the complete Vineland public school experience. What advice do you have to our fellow students?
I would say that the best thing that you can do throughout any school experience is to get involved, whether that's in extracurricular activities or even like in class. Like you should put yourself out there. You should participate in class. You should get to know your classmates. You should learn how to build positive support amongst each other because we're all going through similar things. And even if we're not, it's important to understand what everyone is going through. It's really important to get involved because you can genuinely create change. I've seen that. You can genuinely create change just by getting involved in your class, in a club, going to board meetings and speaking up on certain things. It's really important to get involved with the right things too, things that are positive for you and will keep you in a healthy mindset, because then you carry that into the future and it teaches you how to have this how to have motivation, how to think positively, how to solve problems. It's really important that we have student involvement in our schools so that we can keep progressing and moving forward in the best way possible.
That's excellent. I love what you said. Getting involved with those activities to help develop a positive mindset. Just doing what's right and staying engaged sounds wonderful. You are an example for all of our students to look up to and see what can be achieved, right? Because you participate in so many activities. You're a leader. You have a plan of what happens next. You make us proud. And thank you so much for being part of our Student Spotlight series. This has been a great time to get to know you a little bit, and I look forward to hearing more about you after you leave Vineland and the future success that you have. Thank you so much.